What's up, guys, and welcome back to Project Z Garage. I'm out and about doing some errands, and I figured, you know what, now is a good time to do a quick video introducing the new daily, and also kind of addressing a couple of comments I had in some other videos asking where the A4 was, and you know, what was going on with it. The truth of the matter is I ended up selling it as I wasn't really using it that much. I was using other cars that we have, and it was getting a little, you know, a little small for what I needed it for, and I wanted something a little bit bigger. And, you know, I just thought it was time. I did all the upgrades that I wanted to do to it, and I enjoyed the car a lot. But you know, I ended up selling it to one of you guys that watched the videos. They saw the post I put up when I was selling it. They came, checked it out, loved the car, took it. And honestly, I hope they're enjoying it still. It's a great car. It gets pretty good gas mileage. It's a fun daily driver. It's a 6-speed manual with, you know, all the, I guess, bolt-on upgrades you could probably do to an A4 while still keeping it reliable. And all in all, it's a great car. Now, up to now, I'm sitting in the new daily. I don't know if you guys can figure out what it is yet, or if you saw some of the older, I think I post 1 or 2 hints on our Instagram page, Project Z Garage. But, you know, it's a car that we haven't had before. I've had a little experiences with them, and, you know, I thought it was time to pick one up when one of them, you know, I ended up running across it, and it kind of like stuck with me that I really wanted this car. I was actually looking for the S6, you know, same kind of like you know, staying with the Audi family, and, you know, I really like the way that the car sounds once you do a tune and the upgrades to the exhaust system. It's a twin turbo V8, although gas prices are crazy right now in New York and on the East Coast, but I kind of really wanted that. I looked at a bunch. I really couldn't find a good deal on one over here, and some of them were really clapped out, and they still wanted a lot of money, because this is like kind of during the time where used cars, or, you know, pre-owned cars, the prices kind of like skyrocketed on them. So we totally left Audi and we went to a BMW. So I'll show you guys around the car. It's actually a really cool spec. I really like this year. It's an F10 535i X-Drive M Sport Edition. I think I put all the terms that were in the model description on this, but it is a 535, so that's the straight 6 with the twin scroll turbo on it, and, you know, we love turbo cars, and, you know, I really like this body style. You know, I feel like this was kind of one of the last body styles where you kind of saw a big difference between the different models. What I mean by that is the difference between like a base 5 series and an M Sport 5 series, and then an M5. You know, like there was that kind of distinction. When you look at it, you could kind of tell the difference. I feel like on the later models, it started kind of becoming less obvious what you had. You know, like the body kits that came with certain models kind of all blended. It was kind of, I don't know if it's just, it didn't become, they kind of got rid of some of the aggressiveness that I came to love about BMWs and you know, the M models and the M Sport models that they had in previous years. Now, Audi is kind of known for the same thing, right? Where it's kind of a sleeper car. Like if you weren't into cars, you really wouldn't be able to tell the difference between an A4, an S4, an RS4, other than, hey, one has, you know, a bigger wheels and and maybe you would notice the bigger brakes on the higher models. But the the bodies themselves weren't crazy radical, like some of the other brands were doing to distinguish the sports models and the higher models. So the funny thing is, I just randomly came across this car. I wasn't really looking for a car to replace anything. I was kind of just, doing what all car people do, is just browsing through listings and looking online at different things when we had any free time. And for some reason, I kept coming back to this car. It was not the color I was looking for, but for some reason, I really liked the color. I think it matched well with the trim that it was in. It is an M Sport, which is not the same as an M5. M5, totally different car. That's a twin turbo V8. If we're talking about the same year, but the M5's model type. This car comes with the M Sport package. It has a couple different packages. It has the M Sport package. It has the executive package. It has the Shadowline package, which blacks out all the trim, except for the grille for some reason. It's like a couple of spots where they don't black out, is what I understand. I am not a huge I don't have a huge knowledge of BMWs as I did as much as the Audis. I'm learning now and kind of learning the distinctions between models and everything. The F10, all these different labelings for the different models and things like that. So, I'm sure there's people out there that know more than I do about this car. So, hey, throw in the comments stuff that I haven't covered. Maybe you know something that I don't know. I am hoping to do a lot of the basic upgrades. This is not going to be a huge build. This is going to be just turning this into a really fun daily driver that looks cool and has a nice presence to it when you see it. Like you can, trying to I'm thinking like OEM plus spec, like kind of what I was doing with the other Audi, where it was like some really nice bolt-ons that gives us a good increase in power, some handling, some braking and things like that, just to have a fun time with the car. It's definitely has more space than the A4. We're big guys, over 6 foot. The A4, if you look at some of the videos, me and my brother sitting next to each other, we're literally rubbing shoulders. In this car, it's definitely a lot more room. The trunk has a ton of room, which is awesome. We'll go over that later in the video. It has some cool specs, and I'm gonna probably go over this more than one time, but while I have it fresh in my mind. So Shadowline, so all the trim's blacked out. It has the M Sport bumper, side skirts, rear bumper. This car, so on the lower models, it's one exhaust. This has 2 exhausts, but they're single tip. And like the M5, I believe, I don't know if the new M5 or the M5 of this model, I believe, has quad tip exhaust, so 2 and 2 on each side. This also has so with the M Sport package, let me, correct me if I'm wrong. It doesn't really add any power to the car. It does add some different, I believe the shocks are tuned differently, so it's a little more sportier configuration on the shocks. So the car is a little lower too. I think it's either 3/4 of an inch lower than the stock 5 Series, or an inch lower, somewhere around there. It has the sports transmission, which gives you the different modes. You can go from comfort to sport plus, and then there's even a weird eco mode, which it's supposed to be I guess the best gas mileage, where it cuts back on your throttle input and things like that to get you driving smoother, and saving more gas. A couple other options this car comes with is the full digital display dash. It also comes with, actually, before I go past that, so again, that you go to different modes on the transmission. You also have a launch control in this car, so you can activate launch control on the M Sport models. And this is the later model. I think this is considered an LCI model, which is the end of the F10s. I think this is like the last year of the F10 before it went to whatever the one after this was. But let's do a quick walk around of the car so you can see the outside, and we'll go over a couple of the features, and then let's go over the inside so you kind of see what I'm talking about, and then kind of like wrap this video up. And pretty much this is just an intro video to this F10 535i all-wheel drive M Sport Edition. It has one other surprise that is an option from the dealer. I don't think a lot of people got it because it was very expensive from what I saw than what people are willing to spend for such a little upgrade. But it's a power upgrade. But we'll go over that later, and we'll talk about it a little bit. But let's kind of stop looking at me and let's look at the car so you can see what I'm talking about. Alright guys, here's the front M Sport bumper. We have the LED headlights and fog lights, really cool. Walk around. Now these are the 20-inch wheels that it comes with, staggered on the 4-wheel drive. These are 245, 35, 20s on the front, and 275, 30, 20s in the back. You can see the black trim. These were all option. Also, it was option to remove the M Sport logo on the fender, which looks a little weird. And these are one of the spots where I told you, for some reason, that did not come blacked out. I don't know if that is a option, but it does not come blacked out. Now you can see, really cool BMW and the tail lights. This does have the option with the electric trunk, where you can kick underneath it twice and it opens. It also comes with black exhaust tips on that shadow line option. Very big trunk, very deep. You can fit a lot of stuff in here. It's a little messy right now. I have everything thrown in there, but really cool option. It also allows you to lock the car, and from the outside if you're just getting something out of the trunk. It does have a backup camera, and it has front impact sensors. I wish it had the 360 camera, that would be cool, but this model didn't come with that option. Also, it didn't come with the soft closed doors, but it does have a lot of the options like I explained. It's a really nice, really sharp looking car. I really love driving it. Very smooth, quiet on the road. It is a bigger car, so the handling I feel can be improved a little, but I guess that's to be had with these bigger saloons, 4-door saloon cars. But I am looking to upgrade some of that stuff just to improve the handling a little bit on it. Let's show you the engine bay. Let me open that. And on the M Sport, it comes with the sills, has the M Sport logo on it. The wheels have the M Sport logo, the steering wheel. So it does come with a lot of upgrades as far as, you know, trim and things like that. It also has the, you know, one-touch locking and opening without the key, keyless entry. And here we have it, V6 twin scroll turbo. Don't have it confused with the twin turbo. It's not twin turbo. It's a single turbo that has, I believe it's like a multi-vane turbo system. So it has like for lower RPMs and then higher RPMs, it gives you a little more efficient boost. Now, yeah, I don't know if you can notice what I'm talking about, but the M Sport options for this car doesn't normally do anything to the engine. But if you get the M Performance Kit, which usually is done by the dealer, it's pretty much a tune that they do to the car. Gives you, I believe it's about 20 horsepower, 30 pound-feet of torque. You know, it's not a huge amount, but again, it's done by the dealer, so it means it's warranted by the dealer. Anything that's, you know, happens, you can take it back. A lot of times once you tune these cars, you lose that warranty. So even though it's a hefty price to pay for it, it is giving you a little bit of boost in power and torque, and you're able to take it back to the dealer for anything warranty wise, which is huge. But a lot of people are saying that even though it gives you those numbers, it actually is a little more than what they claim. But we'll have to dyno it to see if we can see a difference, if it is more than what they claim. So let's close that down. Alright guys, so here's a quick overview of the interior, what it looks like. We'll turn it on so you can kind of see some of the features it has. Yeah, the first thing when you get into the car and you sit down, you can see the dash is kind of blank. Now, this has the optional digital display. So this, I believe there's 3 different clusters, instrument clusters. There's the full analog, there's a partial digital display, and then there's a full digital display. And I believe this is considered the full digital display, where everything is blank until you turn the car on. So let's press the start stop. Alright. So you see it comes to life and everything shows up. One cool feature, this does have also the heads-up display. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. It's gonna be kind of hard on this, but let's turn the car on this way. That check engine light will go away. Awesome. As you can hear, it has a nice little tone to it. It's very quiet right now, but I really do like this display. It's really nice. I don't think it's like overboard like some of the Mercedes, where I feel it looks really, I mean, it's digital and it's cool, but it looks too digital, if that even makes sense. It doesn't really, I don't know what the word would be. Like, it looks very flat when you look at some of it, and I'm not a huge fan. And honestly, me personally, I was never a big fan of digital displays. I kind of like the analog gauges, but this does simulate the analog gauges really well, and I think it's cool. One cool thing that it does, I'm just jumping around, is if you switch modes, the display will also change with it. So right now we're in comfort mode, but if we go down to eco, you can see it changed it, and the tone of the engine changes too. Now back to comfort, and then we have sport, where it turns the gauge red, and then it kind of gives you this it makes the RPMs a little bigger, where you can see it, and the miles per hour are bigger. And then we have Sport Plus. Now Sport Plus turns off traction control, and you have to put it in Sport Plus, I believe, to activate launch control. Sorry for the glare, I'm getting a little bit of a glare there, but it does change a lot. It makes the it holds the gears longer, and makes the gear shifts a lot more firmer. I believe if you get a tune, you can tune that too, how firm you want those gear shifts if you buy a transmission tune for this car. But it does, you do feel a big difference on the throttle. I feel it does also increase throttle response. Now that's great and all, but it's not going to give you more power, or maybe it will give you a little bit more power, but it does increase the throttle response, and you definitely feel the difference in the transmission more than anything, of how fast it changes gears, how it downshifts, and things like that. So now let's put this back into comfort, which truthfully, this is a pretty big car, and this is what I normally drive it around in. And the cool thing also is that as you change to the different things, it will show you what you're putting it into. So let's show you there. So that's comfort, that's sport, that's Sport Plus. All cool stuff. Let's go back to menu. And now you can go in and you can adjust what everything does here. Another thing that BMW, or this particular BMW, is they have these numbers here, which at first I thought were programmable for your radio stations, which they are, but these are also your shortcuts. So if you hover your hands over it, you can see that it kind of shows you on the top. I don't know if it's coming up. So yeah, see on top there, shows you the different things when you hover over each button. So this is the sports display. This gives you your horsepower, your torque. Honestly, I know other cars that do this. I'm not sure how accurate it is, but maybe it is. I you know, maybe guys that know a little more about this can say something about it. But I mean, it's cool. It looks cool with the red display on the dash, and you have it on your multimedia also. Some other cool features, like now this is the sports steering wheel. As you can see, you got the little M logo on the steering wheel. These are all the I guess standard options when you get the M Sport package. You have your flappy paddles there. We have some nice trim. I actually like it. I believe on some of the other models you can get carbon fiber, but this dark wood trim, this black wood trim, actually looks really nice, and I think it makes the interior look very classy and a nice place to be in. We have this auto hold button. This allows you to take your foot off the brake when you come to a complete stop. I'm not 100% sure what that's for. It's an interesting option and kind of funny to show people, but I honestly don't use it. It may come in handy, but you can also put your car in park. You know, it's an automatic, not a stick shift, where it'll be like a hilled hold, which is very handy. That I see that now they're putting in some of the newer cars, which was a cool feature. Actually, just a random fact, I know some of the older Subarus, like the really old ones, like the 90s, had that option, and I don't know why they took it away. It was a cool thing to have, but I believe that was like a manual type of hill hold, while the new stuff is now all digital, but it's not a digital but electronic, where it holds the brakes for a couple of seconds so that you can, use the clutch and not like constantly roll back on hills and things like that. This also has the sunroof. It has the heated and ventilated seats. Now, there's a difference between air conditioned and ventilated. Air conditioned, it actually would pump AC into the seats and you will feel cold air blowing on your back. This does the opposite. Well, not really the opposite, but it's ventilating, meaning it has fans that sucks the air that's trapped behind your back in the seat, and I guess your butt in the seat, and allows it to stay cool. I mean, it's not as aggressively cool as you would have with AC seats, but it definitely works. Like on hot days, when you have the air conditioning on and you put the ventilated seats on, you definitely feel that cooling feature on your back. Now, this does have electric folding mirrors, but from the factory they're not programmed to close when you lock the car. I believe there is some tuning options to allow it to do that, but from the factory, unless that's something you have to pay them to do, which is ridiculous, there are programs that you can use to do some of these tuning on your own and get those features. Let's go. What else can we go to? I mean, this car has like a ton of features that the standard doesn't have. Like, those are some of them. We have the sports seats, which have the bolsterings a little better. It has the piece that's under your legs that extend out to give you a little more support. This car also has the Harman Kardon radio system. Let me see if this thing can brighten up a little bit. It's a little overcast today, so I don't know why it's not lighting it up more. So it has the Harman Kardon system, which is pretty good. It could be a little better if you get some more bass, but that's really to the user preference. If you like a little more bass, things like that. And there's upgrade kits for a lot of the stuff to upgrade the speakers and things like that. Alright guys, that pretty much wraps up our introduction to the new daily driver. If you like this video, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video.